I'm 31 years old. Evaldas asked me to make presentation in English language, but if you feel that it is difficult to understand me, please tell, and I will switch to Russian. Today we will talk about Kyiv monad transformers and how it is easily can be introduced in existing project. Could I ask those who use Kyiv library in production raise hand?
Maybe higher.
Less than a half. Could I ask those who use monad transformers in production raise your hand? Okay. So most likely talk will be useful. Maybe someone can tell your suggestion regarding the definition. What is the purpose of Kyiv library?
It's type classes.
It's about type classes. Yes.
It's how I know it's about alternative iterations.
Okay.
More functional way of coding in Scala.
More functional way of coding in Scala. I agree with you. It's previous.
And maybe guys who use in production this library can give us answer. Why?
Okay. On next slide will be my short answer here. So yes, on the 2 points that I would like to mention. So it is architectural building blocks that turn up over and over again in the code, and they're extremely general. And Kyiv library forces us to learn functional programming abstractions and patterns. Okay. Why I choose refactoring as a topic to the meetup? Because when I came to Quantal and sometimes when I made a code review, I faced the same problem when I see some code that I don't like. And from my point of view, this code should be replaced with usages of Kyiv monad transformers or any other monad transformers, and I would like to share with you my experience. So I tried from the last lines, and since it is not understandable what is on the slide, I will describe. It is a sequence diagram with codes that I will share with you, which I have refactored. There is nothing special, just 4 sources, which is execute asynchronously, and 4 sequential calls, and after that, return result. So next slide will be original code before code review, and maybe someone can't see it properly. This is, I have split it in 2 slides, like this one. What is better, this one or this one, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Maybe someone can suggest what you don't like in this code.
Too many rows.
Too many rows.
Intermediate results.
Intermediate results. Let me show this one. Maybe here you don't like something. It's the same code, just top part of it.
Did you use option result?
Yeah. Future is option result. Yeah. You covered all my cases, so I will proceed. What I don't like in this code, it is this nested flat maps and maps. I don't like this huge amount of throwing exceptions, and this is all that I have asked guy who modifies this code to refactor. So my next question, maybe someone can explain what's wrong with exception usages in this case. Why it is not very good to use this? I don't know how much. One exception, second exception, third, fourth.
This is side effect.
Yes, this is side effect.
There's only one exception. So there can be multiple exceptions, but only the first one is captured. No?
Yes, but in those cases, if it will be returned some statement, it also will be only one.
For the usage of errors is in the same base, like, so it cannot be something. So you have like cases when you show the same error.
Cases when you show the same error. Okay. So my points. Exceptions, as the name implies, to be used only for exceptional conditions. They should never be used for ordinary control flow. You can't define some exception as sealed trait and match against all subclasses and get worried if you miss something. I will show in the end of the presentation this case. The case that told Erldas functional purity is broken by exceptions, and it's I'm not sure it is the case usually, but usually exceptions has worse performance because stack trace construction costs are proportional to stack depths, and also stack unwinding costs depend on how lucky we are with bringing the exception handler closer in the compiled code. So it depends on how you write your code. Okay, what next? The final code, how it looks like after refactoring. No exceptions, no nested flat maps, and this part wasn't present on previous slide. I have added it just to show you that you can fold the result of for comprehension. So it's refactored just to these 4 lines. The only thing that added, actually, it was changed a bit business logic inside every service. Every service return a feature of either type. And as you can see in the end, we call method the name FE. What is it? So it's in the very end of the slide. It is just a wrapper for AZT. AZT, it is IZT. IZT is just wrapper against future of ISA, and thanks to this wrapping, you can make such for comprehension, and this for comprehension will fail when will fail first either inside future. If you will not wrap with this monad transformer, all cases will be executed, even if in some case you will get left result inside it. So let's look what is IZT theme of our topic, monad transformer. It is case class against which has only one parameter and value with nothing special, just type parameters. What's interesting that it is monad. It has flat map, and many other methods implemented. And as well, it has this kind of methods like float to make it easily to work with the result of your monad transformer. So this is all what I would like to show you regarding IZT. You can see that if you would like to flat map this method, you should have implicit type class of monad, which is parameter of this IZT. In our case, parameter of IZT is future. And if you would like to map, you should implicitly have functor in the scope. I think everyone know what is monad, but I will share what is functor. Maybe also everyone know. Functor is just anything with a map method. And it is straight without implementation, and that's all. To make our code work, we need just import in the scope implementation of functor of future and monad of future. It looks like this one. Variable code is here and here. It's just a proxy to flat map and map functions. Why I show this? Because even if you wouldn't like to add get dependency to your code, but you would like to avoid using exceptions, nested maps, flat maps, you can easily copy these 100 lines in your project and use monad transformers. What I would like to make next, for better demonstration, I can show how you can work with this abstraction in Scala repo. I will open repo and show you. Do you see well? Yes. Thank you very much. You means while load. I forgot to show you builders.r. I will show you them. It just contains one dependency to get score, and that is all. It is 4 lines of the code. Okay, let us start. We will need only 4 reports, and I would like to create 2 values of IZT transformer and try to write for comprehension and prove that it will not behave like 2 for comprehensions of future. It will fail on the first future if inside future will be left projection of either.
Vitalii, maybe you could just move the line to the middle of the screen so that everyone can see.
Try. This is not proper. So,
And if you move window top screen. Wonderful.
like this.
Yes.
Okay. That's all mine, but the console not work. So you could take just dependency to I show that builders but they just contain one dependency and I will try to code it with one hand. I hope it will not necessarily comments after all is launched. But thank you very much. So we import IZT. Also, we need implementations of functors, monads, and all these stuff. It's another import. One more thing that I would like to do is to define one type alias because we need it. So in our examples, we will use either future with either with right projection string and left projection right projection integer and left projection string. That is defined in this type. And now I will just combine it in proper fashion. So we see that we created, not something that we need. We should wrap everything, we can check what will be inside result. So we see that if we just combine these features in for comprehension, despite first was failed feature, we will have as a result right response. So let's make small changes in this for comprehension.
Question: how do you get the left side if you need? If some failed or isn't handled differently? On the failed feature, I mean.
How we would like to handle it? We can we should wrap everything in IZT monad transformer, and we can get from it result future, or we can hold the result. And by the way, I have made a small mistake. I have to define false again. How we can do this?
Is the live demo things happen?
So let's combine these two new features wrapped with either transformer. Second attempt. Yeah. So we have the same future that's not completed and to turn what is inside future. We should output just output future. We should just output the value of this class of monad transformer. Okay. And now we see the difference. That in first case, when we try to combine this future of either we had success results, and in this case we had failed result. Okay, let's switch to the presentation. Evan asked me to explain why it is different. It is because of let me show the slide. Because of code inside IZT and implementation of functor of future and monad of future. Because the intention of IZT monad transformer. Let's open. I have added source code. So let's start from this slide. So when you call flat map or map from future, it will just output what is inside this future. But if you call map or flat map over IZT, executing the code that you now see in the slide, and which is proxy some calls to monad or to functor implementation, and due to this proxy call, we have result which is left or right. It's get source code. It's yes. I just got a get source code. Nothing except this one. What else? This is source code that I 3 times or 5 times tried. Okay. And another use case that I would like to share with you, it is that it is pretty suitable to use future of either as a return type of HTTP client calls to some remote REST services. Because it could be a lot of corner cases like server return terminal error, return 405 or 403 authorization authentication error, and else. And if we try to cover this with throwing different, we can don't cover this, yes, we can just return a status code when you implement some HTTP client, but you have to every time handle the cases when you have 500 response code, when you have 401 response code, and etc. etc. and or you should throw exceptions. What's wrong with throwing exceptions, except that I've already mentioned? That you can't check that you catch all exceptions that could be produced by this code. You can't check this during compilation time. So if you will implement our HTTP client with such signature, then it's real code. We can combine different calls to different endpoints. Every time we will have left projection result in case of some server returns some unexpected response. If you need to add some business logic, you can map over right projection, and in the very end of your business logic, for example, if it is some REST endpoints that made few calls to another services, you just make all these calls and complete with some result. And during this completion, you can match all your user details error. It is sealed trait that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subclasses, implementations, and if I will lose some case, I will get compile time warning. And you can't achieve this if you just catch some exceptions. You can achieve this if you wrap sealed trait with some exception. You will catch one exception with field of this sealed traits and match against it, but you can't make it if you throw many exceptions. And every time throw same exception, and after that match against different implementations or field of these exceptions. To my mind, it is not a good practice. So this is all. I would like to point out to some conclusions, which is you can introduce in your code gets very easily. As you can see, only 2 imports, only 1 abstraction. If you have some error cases as a result of missing calculation, but you wouldn't like to introduce gets, you can just copy, don't know, 50 lines of code and improve your code. You can avoid nested maps and flat maps. And it is pretty suitable to use top sealed traits for all corner cases and match against its implementations instead of catching exceptions. Then any guarantee that you cover all possible cases. So use materials from book, source code of gets. Everywhere when I describe functor, IZD, and implementation of monad and functor of future, I show the original code of gets, and regarding exceptions, I found some descriptions. I have read many holywars about it on Stack Overflow. The result was on my slide. Thank you. This is all. Maybe it's still some additional questions. Okay.
As you may know, functional code and especially monad transformers generate a lot of intermediate objects. Do you have some solutions to the problem, some recommendations? How to reduce the amount of objects?
I have some recommendation. Implement by yourself these monad transformers. On previous job position, we made it in such way. You just create. We had one seal trait for monad transformer and a few implementations of it, and it was less code than we have in Get, because there were no type classes. There were, since intermediate results, it is that you don't need, it is only type classes. So if you will remove these type classes, will be everything okay, it seems. So we can avoid using type classes, but it will be less customizable from my point of view.
And also, if you have mutability, it's not functional programming anymore. So you cannot actually remove those intermediate classes because that's the essence of functional programming.
You can remove intermediate classes, but you can't reduce the number of classes at all. Yes, yes, you're right. What intermediate classes do we have? This left, right?
No, I mean, sorry, not intermediate classes, intermediate objects.
You mean that generated when you execute flat maps, etc. Yes, I don't know solution how to reduce. I don't understand. So, okay, your question.
And one more question: do you have experience convincing your teammates and management to use functional programming, and how that works for you?
Yes, some of guys like functional programming, some of guys don't like. I try to avoid communication with guys who don't like functional programming. That's all. This is a solution.
That works for you?
Yes, because I don't know, 80 or 90, I think 90% in Quantel like functional programming. Because we only 6 months ago we start hiring.
Excuse me, I can answer this question because
this one of the guys that like functional programming. It's my colleague.
Well, the code that was refactored by Vitalii, it was my code. It was the already refactored code, and we already understood that it looks like shit. So we looked into different ways how we can refactor it because it was really nasty. And so this is the result of how we're trying to refactor it and to move it into a better way. So, and yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, yes, it's my colleague.
Regarding using in production, do you know about any commitment of the Get developer not to break like compatibility, but binary compatibility
Yes,
in the future?
because it's not Scala Z.
Yeah, but who can guarantee that?
Nobody can guarantee. But
yes.
you can still support with library.
Yeah, but I can transitively depend on another version of it. So I use library that uses get of a different library, and then problem with compatibility.
Sorry, but which library have this guarantee?
I don't know, Akka keeps guarantees not to break compatibility between meta releases. Also, Scala itself, Scala standard library.
No. Between minor release? I think this is off topic and maybe.
From my point of view, Kyiv describe pretty common theory of category. Yes, this implementation of monad functors and another stuff and what can be break the name of methods. And then it could be easily, I think, refactored, and I hope guys suggest something when you need to make something. You cannot upgrade. And of course, you cannot use gets, you can use your own monad transformers implementation. And if you don't need any other stuff from gets, I think it is a good decision, don't use gets.
But on the other hand, if you have your own monad transformer, when new guys come to your team and then they meet some problems, what do? They come to you and ask you. But if we use CAS or something else, standard solution, we can ask help to community or documentation or source. That's what it is. But I think standard solution library, what is used in community is preferred solution. And CAS is one of the widely used library.
I agree with you, and I have experience in previous job position where we used our current implementation of monad transformers, and I'm working on tracing requests, and I have found that at some place we have additional context switching. I tried to understand where it is, and I have found that in implementation of these monad transformers, guy use for comprehension, which then translates to this for comprehension could be substituted with one flag maps. But when I use this for comprehension, it translates into flag map and map with identity. And this introduces additional context switching. Most likely, this will not happen in CAS.
I have a question. Do you say before one of the problems was your fix was use internal map? What do you think about use lenses for fix this trouble?
Maybe it is a good idea, but I have never used lenses.
Never?
Unfortunately.
No. I asked about in general and not use or on this project on use. Or for fix this problem.
I have used it in Scala Z maybe 4 years ago,
Okay.
And it could be easily substituted with nested copying because it required such business logic. And maybe I should try it less. Yes.
Can you provide some alternatives for monad transformer library? What as developer I want to see other library, not CAS. What I can choose.
You can easily implement it by yourself.
Yes.
Sorry?
You can easily implement monad transformer by yourself.
If I don't want use CAS and I don't want to write, what I can choose?
You can develop this library.
I think regarding previous questions regarding some guarantees about backward compatibilities and etc., I wouldn't like for this purpose use anything than CAS because maybe it is the topest provider of such things. You can use Scala Z. Instead of CAS.
I can also add that CAS library is decoupled, so you can use CAS core, for example, without all other boilerplate to just bring monad transformers to the project.
Any other questions?
Sorry, I'm not very experienced, but I'm trying to understand both versions of your code. First version is not functional, but it's still very good to understand, and if you read it line by line. But the second version, this mana transformers, so on, is simple but kind of magic as you look at it. So. And your example is a bit synthetic, so I don't think this will work in every case, like it will bring more understanding to your code. Do you have such experience that this cats and very functional style brings to compare some code instead of improving your project? Maybe on your current project?
I don't have such experience, and I have some colleagues that have same objection. So in first case, I understand what's going on. On second, I don't understand. From my point of view, solution is to learn more, to just try using something that you don't understand. Cover this with tests. If you're not sure that it is work properly, add unit tests.
It's not about like you don't understand what's happening. It's about like you look into the code and some process is happening like magic. So you have to know some specifics of cats or so on.
But it's programming language.
Yes.
No, you need to know the specifics.
It's not about Scala, it's about some specific of cats.
No, it's not Scala. It's like a pattern. It works by implicit resolution scope in Scala. So it's totally about Scala.
I can tell you, at least in Cats, you can open official documentation, read it, you can open source code, and try to understand how all going on. On previous job position, when we use custom monad transformers, we have two implementations. One asynchronous, where we have inside future either, and now the one synchronous, which is just wrapper against either. But results, but it will be the same transformer. And it has some specific. If you have for comprehension, and if monad transformer translated from either type, it's work synchronous. If in for comprehension, then it will be asynchronous realization, it will work asynchronous. And if after that will be synchronous, it will be again asynchronous. So something unpredictable. And I have understand this only after go deep in source code. And it was a big issue because when you try to avoid blocking calls in your actor systems, and you expect something one and understand that this work not as you expect, and there is no documentation, it is the worst cases, and use some fully documented library. Can I answer your question?
Okay, I think we can pick up that.
Okay. Seems one more question was.
I have one comment.
Okay.
You described functor type classes, the thing that has not functional, but the important part also that it has some laws attached to that type class, and that laws are important.
Yes, I agree with you. You can't say that functor is just something with map function. You can't say that monad is just something that implements constructor of this monad and flat map method. It should also follow some rules. Future is not a monad because it don't follow the rules of substitution seems most of the rules. It's not definable. I agree with you. Seems no question.
All right. So thanks again. So
we have now a couple of minutes. Our sponsors want to.
I would have a few words in
Few words.
A few words in there. So we can just.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes kind of break and then prepare for our next talk. So if you feel free to talk, whichever you want to network a bit, and we'll be back shortly.
Да. Разработка за кордоном, она саппорт, линия саппорт. Знаешь, пропонувалося. Кому список не може? Ну, так, ну чого. Что это, Макс?
Макс, пошел у нас
Да там чай,
Ну тогда я понимаю, что я делаю.
Да, там еще меньше, там сейчас чуть сложнее. Ну, это дефолтная библиотека для Scala ставить.
Ну, вот эту тему расследований, ревизий. Но они себе
У них там много проблем.
там все сложнее. Это по сути это да, вот у них есть такая. Вот. Потом есть
Хотите понимать оцените моего покрасить
Вот там вот шкафы, мимо шкафов идешь и пластик.
Телефон лежит в шкафе.
Если бы
На Киеве. Через пару месяцев. Сравнивать с чем? Спасибо. Счастливо. Стало на продаже. Ну, просто микросервисная архитектура на телефон.
Ага. Ну, в смысле, от 15 мікросервісів. У нас там є багато.